But the point is to really, I think it's important to split out those two functions, the class that you have for getting data from the database and the class that you have for adding data to the database. The reason that this is so simple right now is because the front end of this particular script was really the last thing that was done. And if you remember from earlier videos, I say that's probably the last thing that okay, as you add things that add functionality to the front end and you make it more functional for, users or whatever, this class is going to grow. You're going to want to do different things in here, and that's where a lot of that stuff's going to go, okay? So this has very little in it because, again, that was the last thing that I did. It's not really all that far developed, so there's not much to it. This, however, deals mostly with the back end and adding data, and that is a lot more developed, so you're going to see a lot more in it, okay? So you see we have a couple of functions. We have our add media, which is for our media uploading. We have our add location. We have add merchant. We have add category. We have our log out, and then we have our check login function for checking to see if someone is logged in. And then we have a couple of get functions, and these get functions are used on the back end. That's why they're in this particular class. So for example, when we go into our products here and we want to get our list of categories, that's what we're using to get it. When we want to get our merchant pricing and display it here, we're using these get functions. So we have our get users, we have our get user, we have get location, or get locations and get location, get comparison ID, get merchants, get merchant, get categories, get category by slug, which you remember I mentioned earlier, get category, get products, and get product. Such and such from such and such database where one value, this is just a SQL query. This is the thing that changes for the most part. You see results, we're just passing it to our get in our database, which again is just our get in our database is just to select, it actually just runs the query, okay? So this is the big part that changes right here. Again, you'll notice this code here, everything is the exact same except for this. Everything here is the exact same except for this. Exact same except for this. So on down the line, okay? So you could maybe even wrap this into one function where you had a bunch of parameters where instead of writing a function for each type of content like merchants and categories and products and so on, you could pass in a parameter that says I want merchant information, and then you could write a code or one big function that handles all of that. Now, it depends how you want to do that, and that requires you to put a lot more thinking into it, whereas with this, it's pretty straightforward. You're really just changing the query here, okay? So that's the big thing I want you to get from this. There's not a lot of rocket surgery to this. It's just a matter of changing the query to query